Hi everyone, it's Nicole, and thanks so much for stopping back today. Today I am creating a 12 by 12 layout for Clique Kits, Clique International. Today I'm up on the blog sharing this 12 by 12 layout, and I'm looking at combining older product with newer product, and what's currently influencing me to scrapbook. And one of the things that has really been kind of driving my creativity lately has been cut files, because it just seems like there's so much going on. Working like crazy, things at home, and trying to keep up with everything, that I don't always necessarily have time to think about and plan out all of my layouts. So using a cut file does that a lot already for you. It takes a lot of guesswork out. So in the Click store, there is this cut file, this home cut file, and it is an older one. I believe it has been on the website now for a couple years. And one of the newer kits that I have received from them has been the Pinkfresh kit from Let's Stay Home. And the paper with the squares I thought worked perfectly with these houses if you cut them down, just like I showed you there. The colors are at a diagonal, the houses are at a diagonal. They kind of pair very well together, in my opinion. So what I did was dissected that paper. I cut it down into strips. I picked 3 strips that I thought worked very well with the embellishments that I wanted to use, and I backed those houses, which with one of each of those squares. And once that was done, it left just enough for the peaks of the houses, so it works out perfectly. What I did though is, if you look at the strips there, you can see how on the diagonal part of the coloring is darker. I set that diagonal off. You could actually turn it so that on the cut file, the darker shows and is exposed, and the lighter is just in the window. But I actually turned it so that you could see that diagonal stripe, and you can see that on the close-ups at the very end. But once I backed that, I wanted to do something else. It just didn't seem like there was enough color. And what I noticed was left were these hearts, and they were left stuck on my mat once I lifted the file off. So I thought, well, this is a perfect opportunity to incorporate some mixed media. So what I did was pulled all of the hearts off of the mat, and I did gesso these. I used clear gesso. It's just because it was what was on my desk. You can use clear or white. It doesn't matter in this case. But I did do a layer of gesso to let it dry, and then I pulled out a color of yellow shaker from Lindy Stamp Gang. I'm not 100% sure what the name of the color is. I have used these so much that the packaging on my labels are starting to wear off. But it is from a kit that I curated for Clique Kits last fall, with an Amy Tan and Paige Evans collection. So if you grab that kit, this is the one from that. But anyways, I went through, I added a lighter color, yellow, let it dry and kind of sped up the drying with my heat tool. And then it wasn't quite orange enough or dark enough, because I wanted it to match. If you see off to the right there, I have the round stickers from the Pinkfresh collection. I wanted this yellow to mirror like the orange yellow that was already in the product that I was using. So I went back in, added a small layer of water, and then highly concentrated yellow of that same powder. And because I didn't water it down as much, it had like an orange tint to it, so it worked out great. I'm starting this off by using these 2 photos, and I'm eventually going to change them a little bit later on. I'll show you. But I pulled them out to try to lay down all of the hearts on how I wanted them to appear on my layout. So once I had that down, figured out which hearts we're going to use, how many we're actually going to show, if any of them were going to be hidden by my pictures, which it ends up only one of them gets covered up, which was good. So I pulled those off again just to line up my houses on the background, and then I take a minute to really glue the whole entire cut file, the backed cut file, to my background paper. Which this is a B side of the paper, and I'm usually an A side girl. So The B-side was a nice, pleasant blue surprise, and I like the darker blue in this kit. I like the darker blue in the collection, and I was going to pull some in for my embellishments too, so that was a nice surprise. So I get the whole cut file glued down, and I decide I'm going to pop up the hearts on some foam adhesive, just add a little bit more dimension. I don't add a whole lot of dimension to this project, but I definitely did want to pop these hearts up just to let them stand off a bit. So I took some time, cut down some foam adhesive, and backed each one of those hearts, with the exception of that one there, kind of in the bottom middle right. And then I bring pictures back in, and these are the pictures that I actually end up choosing. They are, I believe, the same pictures that I had originally chose, but I sized one down, sized one up, and then I made it in a black and white with a blue tint to help pull in some more of that darker blue in the backgrounds and some more of the darker blue embellishments that you see that are off to the right and that I'm trying to lay out now. And so there were a lot of really cute die cuts in this, and I loved that little row of houses. I loved that phrase that said sleeping in, because it is exactly what was going on here. These are photos of my oldest and my youngest son. My oldest son, you really can't see his face though, so I made that one the smaller photo, but I just thought that our dog Odie, he was getting off the couch, and I just thought it was so stinking cute. And this really just sums up our summer right now. They're doing a lot of sleeping in because they're playing hard, and these dogs have just grown attached to the kids being home. And these pictures just show that they're always with them, always sleeping with them, and it's just a good memory to document, and a good positive memory to document in this very weird time that we're dealing with. So I used the phrase sleeping in, and eventually I'm going to use that as a part of my title to make my full title, Sleeping In with Odie. And I'm going to surround that with some more die cuts. I like that little, there's a little geotag off to the right I really liked. I thought it brought in that little bit of a blue over that stamp there on the left that was the darker blue. The rainbows in this kit were really pretty, and it tied in all of the colors, so I had to add that one there on the top left. And then also there were a partial pack of bows in this kit, we put together the buildable bows themselves, so I had to use one of those because I thought they were so pretty. So I glued one together and put it there on the bottom. And then once all of those items on the bottom were there together, I loved how it was starting to look, but the top of it felt empty. Even though there's still a lot going on in my background with my cut file and the heart, the top left needed something. So I found the large circle blue die cut with the rainbow and then the smaller green heart, and just started pulling those in to create a smaller cluster. I did keep it on the small side. I didn't want to take a whole lot away from the background. And then because I tied in some circles there, I wanted to go back and pull these round circle stickers and put some into the bottom right to help tie that element together. This tag here, I did use my tag punch for, with that blue and white gingham paper, again trying to pull in some more of the darker blues, but I wanted a place to put my date, and eventually once off camera you'll see in the final photos I do put my date on that tag. I didn't remember what date it was offhand, and because I was recording with my phone I couldn't really look at it, so I added it at the very end. I start to use these puffy alphas to finish off my title. Like I said, the title is going to be Sleeping In with Odie, and I used these alphas to spell out his name. However, I fussed, oh my goodness, for probably a half an hour trying to find a sticker or an embellishment or something that had the word with on it, because I didn't have a lot of room left to add that word in there. So I thought, well, let's try to find a sticker. And this is where I start to look. And I look, and I can't find anything. And I go through literally everything in my stash to try to find something. And then I just gave up. So right now my title says Sleeping in Odie. And then I go back to these stickers and I thought, well, let's just go back to adding something else because I don't want to waste forever on it. And then whenever I was looking at it, I found this strip. So I fussy cut it out and I eventually add it to that top left cluster of the page. And then I go back and start searching for a word again. And I forgot I had this box of El Studio products and I found a sticker and it's had the word with, and I knew it was a phrase that I was never going to use, so I was super excited, cut it out. That completed my title, and that just made it. Then I went back through and pulled the sticker sheet from my stash. This was from a previous Clique International kit. Thought some of the phrases on there were really cute, so I went ahead and attached that down along with that other one that I had previously cut out. And to finish off the project, on the left there's a pack of three-dimensional elements. This pack of embellishments is probably the most used that I've ever gotten out of anything like this. It has some flower buttons in 2 different sizes, and also in there are these like clear half bubbles and clear blue hearts, and they are the prettiest things and the cutest things I have ever seen. So I'm going to dump that pack out and I'm going to go through, and I thought I was going to use a lot of the blue hearts at first. I get a couple down and I think we're just going to scale it back, and then that's whenever I found the little circle clear bubbles, and I thought, ooh, these are awesome. So I switched those out and decided to use those instead. I do keep 1 or 2 of the blue hearts on the bottom part there. And then this glue I have from Brutus Monroe, and it is probably the best glue for adhering these type of things. I've tried the tacky glue, the mono glue, and some other things, but this one, I don't know if it's because it is a combination of it clear and it drying really fast, but it really worked well for these embellishments. So I would highly recommend that if you do a lot of embellishments like this. But yeah, I added those on and finished it up. I absolutely love how this layout turned out. Look into the stash that you have and pull out some older cut files and some of your newer collections. I highly invite you to join us to doing this, and be sure when you do create with Clique International products, you join us over on the Facebook group and share the projects that you are creating. I hope everyone is having a lovely day. Have a wonderful week, and I will see you next time.